Laura Mulvey was first and foremost a filmmaker. After becoming heavily influenced by the feminist movement, Mulvey became more of a film theorist when she realized she was viewing pieces of cinema through a critical lens, which Mulvey says made her
irritated.
Mulvey examined female characters' roles in depiction in cinema and came up with the male gaze. Well, she didn't come up with the gaze. It's always been present, but Mulvey identified it.
What are you doing here? Looking for shells?
No, I'm just looking.
Mulvey theorized that Sigmund Freud's concept of scopophilia could be applied to cinema, in which children gain pleasure from observing others. Freud believed children gained pleasure from witnessing the private and forbidden. Similarly, in cinema, Mulvey theorized that women are more often than not subjected to a voyeuristic gaze from men. In this gaze, women are reduced to objects of male viewing pleasure and are effectively puzzle pieces used to construct a man's voyeuristic fantasy. The male gaze can be found wherever media is designed to appeal to male visual pleasure. Wherever women's images are heavily coded for erotic impact for a male audience, the male gaze can be located, whether that be in film, television, music videos, live performances, or music. Mulvey theorized cinema assumed its audience to be male, and this assumption can be applied across most media forms. In media, it is the norm to depict women as submissive, hypersexualized, and secondary to a male presence. The male gaze can also be found in the context of self-sexualization, in which female artists choose to act in a sexual way in order to reap rewards. At the end of Beyoncé's 2014 VMAs performance, she stands in front of the word feminist in bold, proclaiming she believes in the equality of men and women. However, as Beyoncé proclaims her feminism, she performs in a way that also pleases the male gaze. Dressed in tight, revealing clothing, Beyoncé and her background dancers spread their legs provocatively in a submissive manner. McRobbie describes this as the post-feminist masquerade, in which the media still adjusts itself for male attention, but in a more assertive manner, like Beyoncé, in which this comes off as empowering. Beyoncé may proclaim she is a feminist, however her overall behavior and onstage presence clearly target a male audience and the male gaze.
It squirts the fuel in so you can go faster.
Oh. I like to go faster.
Media shapes, mirrors, and reflects society, and can normalize and desensitize things in everyday society. For example, the frequent depiction of women as objects of pleasure normalizes their objectification, and women, in reality, may be treated as such as a result. Depiction of women as sexual beings creates unrealistic expectations for women. Lacan argues narcissism plays a key role, in which a child gains pleasure in viewing their own reflection. However, this leads us to construct ideals for ourselves to aspire to become. The constant depiction of women as slim and glamorous informs women that they must be this way too. A 2006 study found that 44% of young Australian girls were worried about being overweight. This self-consciousness can extend to plastic surgery, in which women try to alter their bodies to become more like their favourite stars. The media places pressure on women of all ages to look a very specific way. The media has a tendency to depict women in submissive and vulnerable positions, such as lying down or in unbalanced, precarious positions. These images suggest dependency on male protection and reinforce the patriarchy. As long as these images are circulated, women will be denied the depiction of strength and independence in the media, and the patriarchy will remain.
Wanna get